Well, welcome to the Decompression Chamber. I'm your host, Andrea, and joining me this week is my shipmate, Cody Marshall. Really excited to have him on. How you doing today, Cody?
Doing great. How you doing, Andrea?
I'm doing awesome. Really appreciate you doing this and taking time out of your busy Saturday to sit down and tell me about your life story.
No problem.
Awesome. So yeah, we'll start at the beginning. Where are you from?
Well, I was born and raised in Chico, California. It's this little town in Northern California. If
Yeah,
you know Sierra Nevada, you know Chico a little bit of Chico. So,
probably heard stories of Chico State, but yeah, the 530. Yeah, I
oh
know it.
yeah,
Okay. And what
all
was
right.
your upbringing like there?
It was actually pretty good. My dad was a part of the Butte County Sheriff's Office, so I got a lot of I got taught a lot of discipline as a child. Nothing bad, just my parents were very strict, as you could say, and
Sure.
my mom was a stay-at-home mom, and
Awesome.
that was that's most of my childhood life anyway. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Good old Northern California. I do any skiing or any sports or anything around there.
Well,
What
when
kind
I
of
was
trouble?
my mom had me do what is it, competitive swimming,
Okay.
and I did that from the ages of I think 7 or 8 until I was in high school,
Oh
like
wow.
freshman year of high school. After that, I was like, I'm done with all the cramps in my legs when I'm swimming.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and I was just like, I'm done. I'm done doing sports, and wish I kind of kept with it now, but
Okay. No.
yeah,
Well, it's good when you're a kid. At least, like, I mean, you probably don't have any dreams, nor did your mother, of you going to the Olympics or anything like that. But it teaches you, a useful life skill. It's good to know how to
yeah,
navigate water and discipline, being on a team. So all
yeah.
good things. Okay. And did you growing up? Did you know anyone in the military, or what was your exposure to it?
Um, I think for me, the exposure to the military was mostly when the street we grew up on. It was right next to the veterans. Um, I forget what they called it. It was a veterans hall. That's it.
Okay.
We were right next to it, so
Hmm.
we typically see the JROTC like marching up and down our street.
Yeah.
My grandfather was in the U.S. Air Force about the time of Vietnam,
Okay. Yeah.
and like my I didn't know this about until later in life, but my mom was interested in joining the Air Force as
Hmm.
well. But being that she had me very young,
Yeah.
that was put on hold and just never happened. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, other than that, it was also movies. I was actually so my parents took me to a little town, and we up here in Northern California, Chester, I believe,
Okay.
and we went with some friends up to a cabin, and there was a Civil War reenactment going on, and
Oh,
I wanted to
interesting.
go, and
Of
I
course.
saw that. I got really into the Civil War, but serving your country, that sort of thing. I was like, this is pretty awesome, and that's what I thought
Yeah.
anyway. I was very young at the time, so
Yeah. Yeah. But still, that's yeah. We saw. I don't think we really had Civil War reenactments. I grew up south of you in the Bay Area in East Bay.
damn,
Um, we didn't have Civil War reenactments, at least in my recollection. But like we kind of had one in eighth grade where we'd throw like, uh, yeah, you know what I'm talking about. You'd put
yeah,
it in
we
like
did that in eighth grade as well.
flour and saran wrap and like tie it off with a rubber band and pelt each other with it.
Yeah,
So that was the extent of our Civil War reenactments. But yeah, that's pretty cool because I mean they really get into it. They've got the uniforms and know how to fire the muzzle loading rifles, all that stuff. So that's pretty cool.
yeah.
Okay. So that's kind of your exposure to it growing up is Air Force. You got some family with exposure to that. You see the military, but of course you joined the Navy. So walk me through that. When does Cody start discerning whether or not he should join?
Well, excuse me. It was 2007, 2008. No, it was 2008.
Uh-huh.
Just graduated high school. I was working at Wendy's, and I was like, I mean, this. place is great, but it's like I want to broaden my horizons, and I like one day I wanted to be a writer, just like write stories. And my dad
Sure.
was like why don't you, well, if you join the military, why don't you become a desk clerk? And I'm like, yeah, but they don't experience anything, they don't see anything, they just
Right.
do paperwork.
Yeah.
So I was like, I decided I'm going to look at all four branches, and I didn't even think about the Coast Guard because there was no recruiter in our hometown.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Because you'd have to call in a recruiter, or you'd have to go, I don't know, you'd have to go way out of town. So I'm like, I'm
Oh,
not wanting to
interesting.
do that.
Yeah.
So I started with the Army. They were nice guys, but I was like, nah, I don't feel this is right.
Hmm.
And then I did, then I tried the, let's see, Air Force, Marine Corps. I tried the Marines.
Hmm.
They seem pretty cool, but
Yeah.
and when I was a kid, yeah, I wanted to join the Marines, but then I started thinking about it. I was like, I'm not as athletic as them. I'm
Yeah.
like,
You turn
I
into
don't
a
think.
running fool. Yeah.
So I was like, I can't do that. My parents kind of pushed me towards the Air Force, but
Sure.
I started looking at all of their stuff. I'm like, I qualified for like just with my ASVAB score or something like that. They're like, oh yeah, you could be these. What is it? Um, I'm trying to remember what they called them. The PJs. That's it,
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
or in something like that. But then they were like, some of the disqualifications are, do you have any nasal allergies? And I'm like, well,
Uh,
I'm out. Like I've got everything under the sun on that.
yeah.
Kraft Collins mold. So I was like, nope, not me.
Hmm.
Then I went to the Navy. I was
Okay.
just asking about them, and it was one of the branches that didn't really promote itself that I remember that
Yeah.
much. So I was like, this is interesting. So I started talking to the guy, and my recruiter was a petty officer second class with the Seabees. Can't remember his name. Really nice guy. But my mom, when she went and saw him, talked to him with me,
Yeah.
she noticed that one of his pinky nails was like extremely long. And she was like, you
Ah.
know what that means, right?
Oh
And I
boy.
was like, I don't remember. And she was like, they do. I was like, okay.
Yeah. Don't they get drug tested? But yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. So I was like, yeah. So I did the ASVAB through them,
Hmm.
and I got all these jobs. I think I got about a 79 or an 80 or
Oh
something like
damn.
that.
Yeah. Brainiac.
Oh, I got pretty high, and I was. They gave me a huge list of jobs, like potential jobs,
Hmm.
and it was like master at arms, gunner's mate, bosun's mate,
Yeah.
there's many others. And I had, luckily, my mom was working for a guy who was prior Navy, and he
Hmm.
was a Gulf War vet, or I wouldn't even say Gulf War vet. He was reserves, got injured before the Gulf War, couldn't go, but he was in
Yeah.
that time frame.
Hmm.
So I was like, I went and brought all this to him, and I'm like, so what does what? And
Yeah.
I chose Master at Arms, and if I didn't go Master at Arms, I would have gone Gunner's Mate. So,
Oh, for sure.
but
Maybe blow some stuff up, shoot some things, you
yeah,
know? Yeah. I yeah, those are all good jobs, all the classic Navy jobs right there.
yeah, and I chose, and I joined the DEP program, and then April 7th,
Mhm.
2009, I left Chico from Sacramento to go to Great Lakes and start boot camp.
Ah, yes. Great mistakes. Off you go.
Yes.
Okay. April. Yeah, okay, so you joined a few months earlier than I did, but same year. So, okay. What was boot camp like going off in
Oh
April?
my gosh. I was now of course I remember people telling me, and they were always telling me, don't believe your recruiter. It's like if
Yeah.
he says your job never has to swim, still learn to swim. In fact, I tell people that no matter what branch,
Mhm.
learn to swim.
Oh, for sure.
So as soon as we got there and we got the speech while we were on the bus, like, I want you to do this, this is this. And we got pulled inside the building, and it was the Golden 13. I can't remember. It's been
Yeah,
so long.
yeah. I think you're right.
I and they were telling us to line up. I was like, I messed up. I felt that. I was like, oh crap. I did something wrong. I shouldn't have. But I was like, I'm here already, and I better just tough it out.
Right.
Hopefully, everything will be all right.
Yeah.
And gosh, I was so tired that day. Just like I hadn't
Oh, yeah,
slept on
we
the
all were.
plane,
Oh my god,
and
yeah.
now we were up for over 24 hours.
Mhm.
And gosh, that was just the longest week for P days
Oh,
for
yeah.
me.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, they were the
Um,
worst.
yeah, and I think you had the NWU type ones when you went through boot camp, if I'm
Y
correct,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I had the utilities. I had the
Oh,
older.
wow. We were
So
that near the cutoff, the switchover. You had
yeah, so
utilities.
I noticed that throughout boot camp, every time, every week, every new or the old what was it? The old section would graduate, and then there'd be more and more of these blue digital uniforms and less of these utilities.
Yeah, yeah.
And so at least I got to experience something that you didn't get to.
Yeah.
Oh my, just taking care of those things. I know that the NWUs, you didn't have to iron them. So I know
Nope.
you guys still had to stay up. You had to polish your boots.
Of
We
course.
had to spend at least 15 minutes ironing these things every night.
Jeez. What
So,
what a waste of time. For a
um,
uniform, especially if you go master to arms, you're never gonna wear again. So
yeah,
just
I mean,
silly.
it was pretty cool, but it was just like if you messed up the crease on the back
Yeah.
and you did like a double crease, oh man, there was no way of getting it out,
No,
no matter how hard you tried.
no, no.
So, so what is it? The swim qual was a big thing for me.
Yeah.
So I didn't really know what to expect. I was just like, it is. Let's just see what happens.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
I mean, but you'd
and then
swam competitively in your
competitively,
upbringing, so I mean, you could do it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I didn't know what to expect, and I was just,
Right.
let's see what happens.
Yeah.
And I passed everything. And then when they did the, the drop off that 10-foot platform, that scared the crap out of
Oh,
me.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
it's just the falling. It's like I was just like, oh god.
Yeah.
But the funny thing was, I was nowhere near the front of the group. I was kind of in the middle.
Mhm.
So most people were still in the water, still trying to do that 15 or 50-meter swim.
Right. Yeah,
And
yeah.
me, I'm just like going, and I'm like, I'm behind all you people, but I'm moving faster than you. I got finished before them,
Oh,
and I
awesome.
was like, yeah, I was kind of like, that's a little embarrassing. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I was blown away how many people didn't know how unprepared some people were for boot camp. It's
And
like you didn't know you had to swim, you didn't do anything nothing.
and
Amazing.
again, I tell people that when they join, it's like, hey, do you swim? And they're like, no, I'm in the army. Well, you're still gonna have to, or I'm going into the army. It's like, well, you still have to pass a swim qualification. They just
Yeah,
want to make sure if you fall out, say, of a boat or of any kind of aircraft, or you end up in the middle of the ocean or a sea or a lake,
it's true.
that you know how to swim.
Yeah, I didn't
So
know that the army had a swim test, but as you're saying, that would make sense
yeah,
to have one for
I
sure.
wouldn't be
Yeah.
surprised if the Space Force has a swim test just in case.
I'm sure they do. Yeah. If not, they should. I
Oh yeah.
mean, so much of the Earth's surface is water. You're gonna wind up in it at some point, probably.
Yeah.
So, yeah. All right.
So
So, yeah, you get through. Well, you got through the hard part first with the drop, and then get to show off your showcase your skills with the swim, and then there's the dead man's float. How'd you do with that?
oh, pretty good. I remember they had us get into that those coveralls and basically do that whole splash the air in and then just hold it. And I was like, this is pretty easy.
Yeah, yeah, I was
Um,
blown away.
yeah, and then like the actual just laying in the water and like coming up for a breath and then going back down. That one was a little more,
Yeah.
it was a little weirder for me because I've done that, but we done it on our backs instead of our stomach for some reason. So
Oh, interesting.
it was a little odd.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Okay.
and The rest of boot camp was kind of up and down for me, but I
Yeah, as it
remember
is.
my mom's boss telling me, uh, "Go through it as quietly as possible. Do not
Yes.
make waves." And I achieved this at one point. They had forgotten totally about me. They stopped putting me on the watch bill for because they just forgotten about me. So I was like,
Perfect.
"Hey," but
Yeah.
then they noticed it and they were like, "Oh, we're putting you back on." I'm like, "Damn it!"
Yeah. Yeah. I
but
can't win them all, but hey, at least, got through a few weeks on Easy Street. More than most can say, I'm sure.
yeah. Well, they grabbed me as a stick in the middle of boot camp, so the flag bearer,
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah.
I was kind of in the middle of the height wise. I was in the middle, and I was like, "Wait, you want me to be a flag bearer?" I was like, "Oh,
Yeah, I
okay."
thought they
So
usually pick the shorter guys for that, right?
yeah, I don't
Okay.
know. I was like, "This is odd," but I ain't gonna argue. I can't argue. So
Right. Right.
yeah.
Okay. Cool. So what was your division number? Or do you remember?
Oh gosh, it was. I honestly don't remember. It was.
I mean, probably had to be in the 200s, right?
I believe
Maybe.
so. Yeah. If I remember it, I'll let you know. But I cannot think of it
Right.
off the top of my head.
Yeah.
And I was in an integrated division. I tell
Oh.
people that now, and they're like, "What?" Like they think something racist. I'm like, "No, no, 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 no. It was male and female division. So
Yeah.
usually divisions are male only.
Right, right.
So
Yeah.
so I was like, okay, that's cool.
Yeah, yeah, it is interesting. Obviously all females are in an integrated division. There's no
Yeah,
female only divisions. There's just not probably not the numbers. But yeah, some male divisions were all male, especially like the 800 divisions, the special operations guys, were
yeah.
all male. 900 I think was they were all integrated, but
Mm.
yeah, there were a few that were all male, and I heard all sorts of great stories, but but uh but yeah, okay, so then all right, you get there in April, so you're graduating what, like early June-ish or late May?
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's late May, early June.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And right after that you're headed to Texas, right?
Heck yeah, I knew that. I
Awesome.
just because that morning it was like 3 or 4 days, something a week after graduation.
Hmm.
There we were supposed to be up and ready to go, and we had to be up by 2 a.m. Something. It was like really early in the morning.
Wow.
So we could get on the bus, we could go to the airport, and they could just take us right over.
Hmm.
And the so we stopped at we went to the USO, and we are like, we have a couple hours before our flight,
Of course, they
and
get you there crazy early.
yeah, and I'm an avid reader, so I was like, I've not read a novel in 2 months. I kind of need to get my fix.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
went straight to the bookstore there, and I was like, I'm hoping they have a Star Wars novel, but I'll take just about anything science fictiony or.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I got that Tom Clancy Splinter Cell novel. I can't remember the actual title of it, but it was like,
Yeah.
it it works. It works. So,
Yeah.
and
Awesome.
then flight to Texas was like to Georgia, and then to Texas, San Antonio.
Yeah,
Yeah,
San Antonio. Yeah.
yeah, San Antonio, and of course, then we got the bus ride over, and we're all in our dress white, so it's like that's perfect because it's bright as hell,
Yeah.
and everybody can, well, it's um so
Yeah.
we get there, we get our rooms, and they're like, okay, you guys, it's just about, what is it, dinner time, go over to the galley, get yourself something to eat. We had to get in our utilities for that, and then we'd
Okay.
run back over, and we went out and we got stuff from the exchange, stuff we needed, and then we would do our final formation. That was about it for the first day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, keep it light. I mean, you've been up since 2 a.m., so
Yeah.
1 a.m. Texas time, so or no,
Yeah.
I guess yeah, 2 a.m. They're both Central Time. Never mind.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's Okay, so yeah, you get in, and I mean, was it a while? Like, did you have to be in holding company for a while? Or did you guys class up right away? What was it like?
We had to do a week of probably holding company, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
So we had to take these classes and or this class, and it was so hard to do. Just not really difficult because the
Mm,
class is just because we were so used to being up and active, moving, and now we're told to sit in a classroom and just listen to these presentations, and
yeah.
everybody's falling asleep, including me. And
Oh yeah. Yeah. They're so
so of course the
boring.
whole stand up at the back of the classroom, take a knee, the pain will wake you up. And
Yes. Yeah. Just get up and moving. Don't relax. Whatever you do, just stay
I
awake.
was so happy when we finally got to start. Is it doing like the actual course for
Yes.
Master at Arms?
Yeah.
And oh man, that first week was the OC spray week, the just the
Yes.
getting us ready. And oh my gosh, I didn't know what to expect. I'd never been pepper sprayed before, never been maced. Even
No.
though my dad was a police officer, he's not going to waste his to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Although my parents did during high school try to wake me up by taking my dad's taser and like just opening the door when I wouldn't wake up, turning it on,
Oh,
and
that
then
would get my attention.
oh man, I would wake up so fast. I did not need coffee after that.
No.
So
No. Who would? Holy shit.
yeah. So the week of the test comes and I'm just dreading it because I'm like, I don't know what to expect.
Oh yeah. Well, they tell you everything, and you're just like, oh my god. It sounds like my eyes are gonna melt out of my face.
And then they're telling you there's 1% of the population that will not have any reaction to this.
Yeah.
That it's like, oh shit, okay.
I hope I'm the 1%. Yeah.
Please, God, please be me.
Yeah.
Oh man, so it was my turn finally, and my was it my mentor or not my mentor, but my class supervisor, or I forget what they called him,
Yeah.
MA1 Offit.
Mhm.
Love that guy. He's pretty awesome.
I remember Offit. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
He's a great dude.
Yeah. So he's like, he's giving me the pep talk. I still have pictures from that on my Facebook, and just like he's giving me the pep talk, and I'm like, okay, okay, okay. So they have me turn around, and then they have me turn back around. They spray me, open my eyes, and oh, it burns. And
Oh yeah.
I'm like trying to get my eyes open, but it's like so painful. And of course, I'm going through massive amounts of willpower to not put my hands on my eyes and trying to rub it out. And I was like, no, 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 don't do that.
Yeah. Just get
And
through it.
I thought I kind of fumbled my way through the course, but afterwards, like getting all the Johnson baby soap in your eye and
Yeah.
washing it out, and they were like, "Dude, you were a beast." Like
Oh, that's great.
I was like, "Damn, okay."
Yeah.
And then they reminded us, like, "Okay, guys, when you get back to your barracks, remember to wash your damn sheets after you take a nap because
Oh yeah.
you will get reflash in 24 hours." I got reflash as soon as we got back to the barracks because
Oh,
our
it's the
our
worst.
um, our guide on had to go back into the classroom. She was half blind at this point to go get the flag,
Yeah.
and she comes back out, and of course, like we're all standing in the hot sun, our eyes are closed, and the heat's just raining down on us. I am like, I can barely see.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Oh,
once
it's
we
so
get back
painful.
to the shade, and we got the rest of the day off. So as soon as we get back to the shade and we run back to the room, like I feel the reflash coming. I'm like trying to fumble with the door key to open the door, get in there,
Yeah.
and jump straight in the shower.
Yeah. Yeah.
And after that, I didn't nap. I laid in bed and just watched some TV on my tablet or a couple of YouTube. I forget what.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, it's time to go to dinner. I get in my uniform and I'm walking outside, and then I realize something. It's like it's sunset,
Mhm.
and I'm noticing my vision is crossing because of this.
Oh god.
So
That's
I'm
not
like,
good.
I have to stop. Otherwise, I'm going to trip over something and bust my teeth in.
Oh
So I
yeah.
close one eye and then I walk with one eye open. I probably looked like I'd lost an eye or something, but I was like, it's the only way I can actually see outside.
Yeah, yeah. Wow, I don't remember having that big of problems with my vision, but that makes sense. Like it's pretty
Oh yeah.
painful, pretty memorable. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah,
And yeah.
made it
And the
through.
rest of A school was pretty simple.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff my dad taught me, and
Mhm.
so
Good.
yeah, when we graduated, my dad didn't come because well, he had to work. So my
Yeah.
mom came down. She pinned me, and
Oh, great.
then we went to one of her friends' houses, and or one of her friends, and we had dinner there. They offered me a beer, and I was 19 at the time, and of course, the old California logic and law comes in, like you have to be 21. They're like, oh, this is Texas. You can have a beer if you want. I still said no. I'm like, thank you, but I don't think that'd be a good idea.
Good for you.
I was just like, look, I'll hold off on it, and then
Yeah, better safe than sorry, right? I mean, you just
yeah,
graduated Master at Arms A school. They keep telling you to live beyond reproach, and you did that at 19.
yeah,
That's pretty impressive.
yeah. So we get home. I'm supposed to only get 2 weeks of leave, but they keep telling me your orders have not come in at the time. So
Interesting.
I was like, okay, so what do you want me to do? They're like, you can just stay where you are. We'll send you your orders when we get them. I was at home
Interesting.
for a month.
Wow.
I was
Yeah.
definitely like every day I was like emailing this guy, calling him like, hey, sorry to bother you. Are my orders in?
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
yet. Thank you.
Wow.
So I was like, I'm probably gonna owe the Navy something for, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
For
were
this
like
month paid vacation. Yeah.
but of course it was like it was during some tests we had during A school that we started getting like our orders or where we were going to be going. Half
Right.
the class was going to Bahrain. A good chunk was going to San Diego, and then there's like groups of people. There's no singular person going anywhere by
Mm.
themselves, except
Okay.
for me.
Ah.
It's like it's like you're going to Gitmo. I was like,
Oh.
okay, and
Fantastic.
I hadn't really known anything about Guantanamo except what some people have said, but I was like, I didn't listen to it because
Yeah.
I don't care. It's
Yeah.
and
Yeah. What are you gonna do
so
about it?
yeah, so I got a hold of my sponsor from Gitmo, and I started talking to him, asking him about the base, and like, hey, can I bring my cell phone? Because I was on my mom's plan. They're like, you can, but there's no radio towers down here, so you're not
Uh.
going to get unless it's like a spy phone or something. So
Yeah.
I was like, damn it, okay. But when I flew down there,
Mhm.
I didn't. My sponsor had stopped talking for some reason. Turns out he was on leave. So I was
Ah.
like, okay. I was like, should I come in uniform, like a dress uniform, or should I come in civilian clothes? So I didn't get that answered. So I leave Sacramento in my dress uniform,
Yeah.
and then when I get to Florida, or just before Florida, I was like, oh shit, I shouldn't be wearing this. So I grabbed a pair of shorts from my PT shorts because I didn't have any other type of pants with me at the
Oh,
time.
jeez.
And I was just like, please let nobody notice. Nobody noticed, but I wore just a plain old t-shirt over that. And
Yeah.
it just was like, damn. And he
Yeah.
flew in on the plane with me, which
Mhm.
I was laughing so hard. I was like, oh my gosh, man.
Yeah.
And so, and the gosh, when I got to Gitmo, I did not know what to expect. It's like you
Yeah.
see movies, TV. I know NCIS goes down to Gitmo every few seasons or something, or in the show anyway.
Right. Right.
Of course, some people have like they do movies like a few good men has a setting in Gitmo, and
Mhm.
it is nothing like what people say or what people describe. It
Oh,
is
yeah, because as you're describing, I'm trying to work it out in my head, like, what does it look
yeah
like? And it's like, oh, I got nothing. Like, I've
okay
been
so
to been to bases, but
Yeah, you can
I
look
don't know.
up Naval Station Guantanamo Bay later, but so basically, it's a base that is completely surrounded by a minefield. So there's two
Ah,
fences. There's our fence. There's
sounds
about a
secure.
1 or 2 mile area around that fence
Hmm.
that's just chock full of communist mines, and then the
Wow.
communist fence line.
Okay.
So, and then there's a bay
Wow.
in the middle of the base that cuts the base in half. So we landed on the leeward side of the base, so the
Hmm.
left side of the base as you're facing north,
Hmm.
and that's like the sparsely populated area of the base. There's only like a small group of people that live there permanently.
Okay.
Everybody lives on the most people live on the windward side of the base, so you have to take a ferry across. And
Interesting.
actually, we didn't take a ferry. We was it the Harbor Patrol unit had shown up down
Ah.
there, and we asked them, "Hey, we get a ride? We're part of NAFTA, Gitmo. We're part of what is it, security? We're going to be
Yeah. Yeah.
like, yeah, sure thing." We get our stuff, they take us across, and
Off you
there was
go.
all these. Yeah, it was pretty nice. There's all
That's
these
pretty cool.
mangroves, and
Yeah.
and they were like trying to tell us what they could, and they're telling us about the Gitmo River Bridge, and it
Hmm.
was like, oh, that's interesting. I never heard of that. And
Yeah.
so when we got there, we had to go get our key cards so we could get our rooms. And
Right.
one of the guys I showed up with, he what was it? Somebody was sleeping in his bed. Like his roommate had a buddy over, the buddy was sleeping in
Oh,
his
got it.
bed.
Okay. Yeah.
I was
Like,
like, we okay? We're not like overbooking people at the
yeah,
barracks.
yeah. Yeah, that boy, that'd be something. Overbooking the
Yeah,
barracks. Write a
yeah,
sitcom about it.
yeah. So what was it the first 2 3 weeks we did in processing, and we went around the base and we just saw as much as we possibly could.
Hmm.
And it was kind of interesting because if it's kind of like the 1950s for the USA. It
Yeah.
kind of has that feel and that look.
Sure.
Not the cars, but like the buildings. They all look like they're from the 1950s, 1960s.
Got it.
And
Okay.
I was like, this is actually kind of nice here.
Yeah. Seems like
And
it.
one and like we were asking about the beaches. We're like, so where's the white sandy beaches? This is the Caribbean, man. We should see these.
Yeah.
Most of them were like full of broken dead coral because that's what Cuba
Oh.
is. It's just a
Yeah.
coral reef that's dried up. And
Oh, interesting. I
yes,
had no idea.
so I was I never wore sandals out there just because, and I
Oh
was
no,
like,
you
I'm
cut your feet
wearing
up.
shoes. Yeah,
Oof.
and so yeah, the first few weeks were just processing in, and then we went to the academy, and that was that was pretty interesting
Yeah.
because the first few days they just had us working on guard sheds and trying to get them all ready to go that they
Yeah,
put
yeah.
out where they needed to, and um, yeah, it was just that. And then when we got to the actual training, it was stuff we'd already done, and of course we had to
Hmm.
just relearn and make sure we're all up to date.
Of course. Yeah.
And, yeah, and when I finally got out to my section, I was put in Delta section. It was a night shift, our night crew, and we were just kind of thrown in with people. So
Yeah, yeah.
and yeah, we were driving around. It's kind of interesting just to see what everything is. And
Hmm.
um,
Now,
after about 2
now,
a.m.
were you? So what were some of the different jobs that you could have, like detainee ops, harbor patrol, obviously, and then I mean, what were you
So
doing?
detainee was taken care of by Joint Task Force. So it
Okay.
was a combination, and they were specially trained. It's like
Oh yeah, you have to be.
yeah, extremely specially trained. Um, yeah, there was Harbor Patrol, patrolman, desk sergeant,
Hmm.
dispatcher. Of course, you had sentry duty, so you
Of
were
course, every
constantly
base
in there.
does.
Yeah, and yeah, so I did a lot of sentry duty and did a lot of patrolling too. It
Cool.
wasn't until later on, like they started putting me on harbor because I passed my swim qual there, and they put me
Nice.
out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, I swear I've never had to write ticket. It's well, just talking, just dealing with the people of Gitmo. It's like we had the amount of people that would be on aircraft carriers, so about 5,000 people on base.
Oh wow, I didn't realize it was that big.
Yeah,
Okay.
so we basically had to babysit all of them, and it was
Of course you do. Of course.
so I'd had calls that were just like one was that comes to mind that some joint task force guys got drunk after their day of work and the next day
A-
off.
As one
And
does.
all, yeah, and all of a sudden we got a call on the 911 system saying that somebody set a chair on fire. We got the address, we go to them, and it's a government property chair. It comes with the housing, so it's government property.
Okay.
And we asked them, so what the heck were you thinking?
Yeah. What
Like,
the fuck?
oh, we got drunk and we wanted, so we had to arrest them. We had to get their statements. And it was just, it was like, oh my gosh. So you have a day off and you decided, let's light something on fire.
Yeah, well, some people are pyros. What are you going to do?
That's true.
The fire water will
Uh,
bring it out in them.
yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, after a while, it got boring in Gitmo. We had to just
Yeah.
because it's like a very small base. You can't go out in town. If you wanted to go off island, you had to have leave. You had to fly out, and
Yeah. Yeah.
but we also had to do airport security, which was also pretty fun to do because
Oh,
you would well, it's easier when you have a armed force already there. So
sure. Sure.
and so some people would forget, like, you can't bring this. So we had a construction, our CB
Hmm.
put his X-Acto knife in his carry-on. We
Yeah.
were just like,
That's a big
yeah, you
no-no.
can't take this with you, man. So we had to confiscate it,
Uh, Bummer.
and of course we had Jamaicans and Filipinos work on the island for us to do like,
Yeah.
and the Jamaicans would go home for a couple weeks. They'd come back and they were told, like, you can bring back 2 bottles of rum, and they're about yay big
Yeah.
around,
Yeah.
they're very small,
Hmm.
and they're given like this box that you can put 2 in comfortably. I don't know how they do this, but they are ingenious. They cut the box up, they duct tape it in such a way that they can fit 20 in there.
Damn.
And of
That's
course, we're just
impressive.
like, and of course, nobody told us, like, you have to confiscate that. It's like, hey, I applaud you, man. You're,
Yeah. If you're that driven, I'm gonna let it slide. If it's up
yeah.
to me.
I should have told them, like, hey, you give me 1 bottle and I'll look the other way.
Yeah, yeah. There you go. I'm surprised, well, I guess they got to let them come in with something, but yeah, no, I imagine no provisions, no allowances for them bringing in weed.
Yeah, no, no. In fact, anytime there was a drug runner that would get shot and that weed would go overboard and that would wash up on our beaches, we were supposed to get out there first.
Ah, yeah.
We had to, because somehow the word would get around and people would come and get it. And
Oh, of course. They're much more motivated than the sentries on base. That's
yeah.
funny. So, how many years were you down in Gitmo? Two or?
So originally I was only supposed to be down there for 18 months, year and a half.
Okay.
But about 2 months in, they're like, hey, new Navy regulation. If you are there for, if this is your first command, you're going to be there for 30 months. So 2.5 years. I was like,
Wow.
damn, okay. I
Yeah.
tried to fight it. I signed the paperwork, all of that, but got denied or something. I was like, you know
Yeah.
what? I'm here. Might as well.
Yeah, yeah. But
And
that's
yeah.
a long time for your first command and bottom of the totem pole and everything else. Damn,
Oh, yeah.
that's rough.
It
So,
was.
how long were you sentry, and then like at what point during those 30 months did you move over to harbor?
So Sentry, I was there for about 6 months till I got my patrolman qualification,
Okay.
and that it was after that it was I forget how long, but I got to work with Harbor pretty quickly, and
Nice.
I was kind of pancaked between the two, so sometimes it would base, but I couldn't really do that until I got my 240 qual, and I
Right,
didn't get to
right.
fire the 240 in A school because the Marines took the last of the ammo and they fired it all,
Of
and
course.
or
Yeah.
that was the story we got. So I was like, damn it!
Yeah, yeah.
But when I got to fire that thing, it was so fun,
Yeah, it's
and
something else, man.
yeah, and I'm was it the uniforms in Gitmo were originally very nice. So us in security, we got those old BDU uniforms, the green.
Yeah, I remember those. I had them
Yeah, those
in
were
Washington
awesome.
State. Yeah.
But they decided that we're going to go to the NW Type Ones, and at first I was like, okay, I knew very little about the uniform. I
Right.
didn't realize it's a winter uniform. There's no summer variation.
Nope. It's like wearing
Oh,
denim, but thicker somehow.
yeah,
And acrylic, not cotton.
yeah.
It's just
So
awful.
I when I finally got my set go or a couple of sets, I started realizing even after washing them, I was like, what am I smelling? And then I realized, oh,
Right.
that's me. I'm smelling this on me. I'm smelling
Yeah, it
all
just
of
doesn't come
the,
out.
and it's very humid in Gitmo, so you're getting a lot of that smell as well.
Yeah.
And I was, of course, we were making complaints to our chain of command, like, these uniforms suck.
Oh yeah.
Can we get something different? It's like,
Something.
yeah, can we do like what actual police officers do? And we could do like a sheriff's uniform. We have the khaki top, the green trousers that are really durable.
Or at least
But
let people wear coveralls. Like even that would be somewhat of a
yeah,
relief. It's just
yeah.
thinner material. Yeah.
But our police fell on deaf ears. Our chain of command was like, "We love this uniform. It's very comfortable." I'm like, "Yeah, you sit in an office all day
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you're in AC. We're out here sweating our."
Oh yeah.
So
It
I was
was
really glad to shave my head throughout all of Gitmo because it just was so damn hot. And
Oh yeah. I mean it was just oppressively hot cuz like, Washington State we had the BDUs the whole time. I think,
yeah,
when we came in on like our training Tuesdays or whatever, we wear blueberries, fine, whatever. But very seldom we wore the blueberries. And
yeah,
then when I got over to Bahrain, they were like, "Oh yeah, we don't do BDUs here." I think it was like the last of the desert camo when I
I
got
got,
over there, but I wasn't issued that, so we had to wear blueberries, and it's like, are you fucking kidding me? Until we could get our Type 3s and like breathe
yeah,
a little bit. They weren't
yeah.
that much better, but at least they weren't the polyester denim that the blueberries were. My God, those are a nightmare. So how long did you have to wear the Type Ones before you got the hell out of Gitmo?
Oh man, I had to wear them until the day I left.
Well,
And
yeah, yeah, but when did they institute it? Like, how many months did you have to wear them?
probably 3 months after I got there. So I was wearing those things for about 27 months.
Holy
And
cow, that's awful.
yeah, well, what was one of the worst things we had happened in Gitmo for me was it was the earthquake in Haiti.
Oh, right, right,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's early 2000. Was it mid 2000? I think it was early. Yeah, it was early 2010. Just got
Mm-hmm.
my rifle qual, and we had kept hearing that something was happening. But I get back to barracks. I throw my uniform in the wash because I've been out in the hot sun all day. And
Of
then
course.
I'm like sitting in the rec center, just enjoying myself. I was talking to my family on my laptop. All of a sudden, I get a tap on my shoulder. I look up. It's one of my fellow MAs. He's like, "Hey, we got a recall." I'm
Oh,
like,
jeez.
"Oh, damn it." I tell him my uniform's in the wash. What do you want me to do?
Yeah.
He's like, "I don't know." But so I had to go to this thing in a wet uniform, fully
Ah,
washed, but it was like wet. So
yeah.
I'm already uncomfortable. And
Of course.
we go, and our security officer at the time, I hated this guy because every time he would talk, he would start then getting louder, like he was getting angry. And it's like, we were like, what's going on, man?
Yeah. Just tell us.
Yeah, he was telling us, like, earthquake happened in Haiti. What was it? We were going to 3 sections. So we're going to be working every single day.
Mm-hmm.
So it was night, day, or no, it was morning, afternoon, and then night shift.
Okay.
So we were just like, I was like, oh. fuck, I am.
Yeah, that's some
So
serious shit.
we had to, so I got the night shift, of course, and we started doing that. And we were like wondering, why is all this happening? Like, well, we knew what was happening, but it's like, why are they having us do 3 shifts?
Yeah,
And
yeah, it does seem kind of strange.
we didn't learn about this until at the end of it. But
Mm.
it was due to the fact that they were believing that 10,000 Haitian migrants were going to be coming over to Guantanamo and then possibly
Oh,
move to the US or something like that.
okay. Yeah,
But
yeah.
we did not know that. And so I was like, so you're wasting manpower, you're tiring us out now,
Yeah.
and then what's going to happen if they do come over? They never did, but it was
Right.
just why do that to us?
Yeah, seems insane, but yeah, the Navy's never really been good at managing resources. It's always misuse and
No,
abuse. So, yeah. Wow. So
but
how long were you guys basically like, you know,
2 months,
2
2 months.
months?
Now they
Holy
started giving
shit.
us like days off, like one day off a week, and I had to call my parents after that and like tell them like, hey, I'm going to be busy.
Mhm.
I will talk to you when I can. I'm sorry, but
Yeah, yeah.
oh my
It's too
gosh,
much going
I
on.
swear, I swear, there's gaps in my memory about that 2 months because
Oh
I
yeah,
don't
it's a
remember
long
how
time.
I fed myself. Probably just going to the mini mart and grabbing whatever junk I could.
Yeah, yeah, that's the thing. Did you guys even have a galley down there, or
We
was it
did, but
open?
it but it was you had to pay to use it unless you were joint task force, which I was like, so why do I have to pay to go to the galley? So I was just like,
Yeah,
I'll go to the NEX. I will buy my own groceries, and
yeah, yeah.
that'll do it for me.
Got
Yeah.
yeah. Wow.
But gosh,
Yeah,
then
but
once all that lifted, we were just like, our Seco was like, all right, guys, so you want to go back to the original schedule, which was a 3-2-2-3 schedule,
right.
or do you want to keep this one? Everybody's hand shot up for the original schedule
Oh yeah,
because days off, and yeah, it
yeah.
was 12-hour days, but you know, less of them. So
Right, right. Yeah, you're putting in your hours in a different way, and yeah,
yeah,
getting some sleep. Holy cow, what a nightmare. Uh,
yeah.
okay, so managed to get off of that. You do 30 months, do some harbor time, uh do a 2 month nightmare schedule. Hopefully, peter down from that. When
Yeah.
About how far out from the end of your 30 months do you realize where you're going next?
Probably 3 or 4 months before that,
Okay.
they they were like, "Well, you're going to Bahrain." It's like, and I was like, "Okay, cool." Now they were like, "So do you want to go harbor? Do you want to go landside?" And I thought landside would be good because then I could walk around, I could stretch my legs, and actually do something. But
Yeah.
when I but whatever Navy gods were there, they decided you're going harbor, and I was like, "Okay, I've got to qual for it." So.
Yeah. Yeah. Make it
And the
happen.
weird thing I remember about Gitmo was there was no hurricanes that came through while I was there.
Is Oh, they get them pretty frequently. You just
They get
managed
them
to
like
dodge it.
once a year or something like that. But I'd been there for 2.5 years, never seen a hurricane there. So
Very lucky.
yeah, we had a
Very
tropical
lucky.
depression, which when we were on the harbor doing that shift,
Mm-hmm.
um, we had this radar that would show like disturbances in the water as these yellow dots.
Oh yeah.
That whole screen was yellow during that. It was
Interesting.
raining so hard that it's like, we're gonna moor up and we're just gonna watch movies on our little mobile DVD player because we
Yeah.
can't do anything. So,
Yeah, yeah, it's just way too choppy out there. Probably
oh
get
yeah,
hurt. Yeah.
definitely.
Okay. Damn.
Yeah. And after that, I did a month's worth of leave because I had it saved up so much. I went home and spent time with the family,
Awesome.
and then was off to Bahrain. Um, I know you and I worked together a bit here and there.
Yeah, yeah.
I enjoyed it. It was actually kind of cool because it was kind of a culture shock for me because
Oh, for sure.
being in Gitmo, it's like you can't leave the base unless you're going off island. Whereas in Bahrain, it's like, yeah, you can leave. Just got to have a valid or up to date CAT card, and
Yeah.
you know Yeah, can't be restricted to the base, anything like that. And
Yeah, it was definitely I didn't like I wouldn't necessarily say that I enjoyed it, but I'm glad
yeah,
I got to experience that and see what, gave me an appreciation for, living in the US and everything.
oh yeah.
Yeah. So how long did you cuz then that would have been the end of your contract. You finished up your contract in Bahrain, so how long were you there for?
About a year.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
yeah,
Same
yeah,
here.
I failed my third PRT, and I was just like, that's okay. That's like, but
Yeah.
it's like I also had to go in for a few medical things, and it's like
Yeah.
I turns out I have sleep apnea,
Uh
and for all the years I'd been in and back into my early teens, I didn't have a CPAP because I didn't realize that. Oh, I got that CPAP in Bahrain, and I still have that thing, and I still use it. So,
oh yeah, you have to. Yeah. Without that thing, like all of a sudden you're not breathing, tired all the time. Like, yeah,
oh
it's
gosh, I
sure it
woke
makes
up
a
with
world of
headaches
difference.
every morning. No one told me that's not normal
Yeah, yeah.
because I didn't know any better. So,
Yeah, why would you, you know,
yeah,
what would yeah, unless you do a sleep study, like how would you know you need a sleep apnea machine? Like the symptoms don't seem to
definitely.
be very obvious. So,
Yeah,
okay. Well, yeah, glad you got that figured out and start getting some
yeah,
treatment. So,
yeah,
um okay, so you're there for about a year. So you get out of there what, like spring of 2013, or what's the
yeah.
timeline
It's
looking
like
like?
June of 2013. No, yeah, yeah, about June of 2013, something like that.
Okay, so you're
And
probably
I'd
right
go
about
to
the same time as me. We were just in different sections probably, so I don't remember.
and so yeah, I had to get on that flight, and the airport in Bahrain, like as we were leaving, it
It's so
was
weird,
really
right?
weird. It
Yeah.
was, yeah, you could go buy bottles of liquor, and there was like you go to there's a cigar shop, the whole thing's a humidifier, and I should have bought a couple of cigars. I tell you, I should have just like
Yeah.
because even though I was in Guantanamo, Cubans cigars were quote unquote illegal. You couldn't have them.
Right, right. Yeah.
So it was like, oh shit, okay.
Yeah, I that was yeah, that was the crazy thing. Like Bahrain out in town, you could just get Cuban cigars. It was not a big deal. And
Yeah,
I tried them, and then I realized at that point, I'm like, oh, I don't know anything about cigars. Like, I don't know why I'm doing this, but it's just kind of like the novelty of it, was
yeah,
enticing.
yeah.
Yeah,
Just saying, like, yeah, I bought a couple of Cubans. So what?
yeah, yeah. Not a big deal, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, that was kind of interesting. All
yeah,
the all the
yeah.
stuff they
The
had there.
flight back was pretty easy, except when we got to Kuwait. So we had to stop there, pick
Oh
up some
right.
people, and the landing gear, something was faulty with the landing gears
Oh
when
shit.
we landed. So it was like I was sitting in that waiting area for like hours, and then they're like, "Okay, everybody, you're going to go to the main desk, and they're going to get you a voucher for a hotel room. You're going to have to come back tomorrow." Or it was like later on today at this point. So they're
Yeah.
like, "We have a problem," and I was like, "Okay." So I
Crap
uh,
happens.
and get the voucher, go sleep, and come back and get to the plane like 15 minutes before they were like done boarding,
Mhm.
just because the line was so long. And I'm like, I do not want to have to stay another night here.
Yeah,
And
yeah. Why would you want
yeah,
to?
yeah.
Yeah.
And then the out processing when we got to Norfolk, Virginia was pretty nice. But I had the weirdest time. I got to, where did I get to? It wasn't New York, it was somewhere on the East Coast. And then it was JFK, or I forget where. And then it's like, okay, I need to go to this to get this. Was it connected with this flight? And they're like, oh, that's in another airport. Like, oh,
What?
okay. So how do I get there? I don't have a car.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
like,
What am I supposed to
okay.
do?
So they're like, we'll get you a shuttle, and I was like, oh, okay, cool.
Wow.
I get and get there, and then I have to fly to Virginia and
Right.
get a taxi to the base.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And then I get to the out processing area and they asked me like why I didn't come in yesterday. It's like, because of this. And they're like, well, we'll have to dock you a day of leave. I'm like, fine. How do you want me to call you?
Yeah, what do you want me to do here? Yeah, the Navy's so absolutely stupid and petty and ridiculous, but
Yeah.
you know.
But I was like, I don't care. And then she's like, okay, also it's, I forget what it was. It was some holiday. So you got a 3-day weekend. You don't have to show up until Tuesday. It's like, awesome.
Sweet. Sounds good
So
to me.
yeah, so I enjoyed myself. I was there for about 3-4 weeks, something
Oh
like
wow,
that.
that long.
Yeah. But as soon as I got out, I was like, okay, where's my ticket? I'm going home.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Time to bounce.
Yeah. I did not show up. I was like, so they got me a direct flight to my hometown. There's a little airport on the north end of town. So
Okay.
I got a little huddle jumper and they flew me there. And my grandparents picked me up, dropped me off back home. And
Awesome.
yeah, that
Yeah,
was
it's
basically my Navy career.
yeah, yeah. That's pretty cool. Get nice little homecoming. So, did you have a plan for when you got out, what you were gonna do, or just kind of?
Well, I kind of did. Jerry Bonham, you might remember
Yeah,
him.
yeah.
I'm still friends with him.
Oh,
I
cool.
talk to him as much as I can. He was my mentor, and he was asking me, "What do you think about what do you want to do when you get out?" I was like, "I don't know, man. Definitely not police work. I'm not really mentally built for it." So,
Yeah, yeah.
but he's like, "Have you ever thought about going into the culinary industry?" And I hadn't before,
Mm,
but I was thinking about it. I was like, well, I like food. I'm always interested to learn more about it.
for
In
sure.
fact, I got addicted to shawarma in Bahrain.
It was
There's
good
a
stuff,
shawarma
man.
place. There's a shawarma place here in town. And it's good, but it's not like what they did in Bahrain. So it's like
How can you beat Bahrain food, man? Like I still
you can't.
because and it wasn't just like authentic like Middle Eastern Bahraini food. Like people don't realize you had so many third country nationals. You had Indians, Thai. Like you got like food, the real stuff. And man, the Thai food I've just never had any that good since. It's
Yeah,
but yeah, shawarma. back to culinary pursuits.
yeah. So I thought about it and I was like, yeah, that'd be kind of cool. And there was like two paths I could take. I could get into a big restaurant and work with the chef. And I was like, that's kind of cool, but I get a lot of on the job training, but
Yeah.
you're going to be dealing with a lot of stuff going very fast. And I was like, I'm not really sure I want to do that.
Mhm.
So I was like, let me go to culinary school, learn some skills, learn some stuff that
Yeah.
most people are not going to learn. And then,
Mm.
but when I got home, I kind of just laid around for about 7 months. So I shouldn't have done that, but I did. But when I finally got to go to culinary school, I had a few choices when it came to that.
Mhm.
So the closest one was in Sacramento. So it
Okay.
was about a 2 hour drive.
Yeah, yeah.
And one of my buddies from the Navy was also going to a culinary school down in Sacramento. So I thought, perfect.
Yeah.
And so there was Le Cordon Bleu and the Art Institute.
Okay.
We went to Le Cordon Bleu first because Le Cordon Bleu it is culinary. And
Yeah.
it looked like a nice place, but then we asked, is this a full-time school? So
Oh,
can I get
yeah.
full-time credit?
That's
And they're
important.
like, no, it's part-time. I was like, it looks cool, but I'm not really sure I can handle the job along with doing all this
Oh,
schoolwork.
yeah,
And
yeah. Huge
so,
consideration.
so I was like, because I'm going to use my GI Bill, I'll get BAH and all that. So we went
Yeah.
to the Art Institute and they were like, yeah, you can get full-time here. You're going to be working with other people who are going for fashion, for design, web design, all of that.
Yeah.
I was like, so basically I'll have more of a networking thing going
Yeah,
on here.
yeah.
So I was like, yeah, let's go. I'm going to go here.
Mhm.
And of course they took the GI Bill and I did not expect to do well. I was not a good student in high school and junior high. Well, I was not a bad student. It's just it was difficult for me to focus because you have hour-long classes with 3 hours of
Yes.
homework at the end. So it's like
Yeah.
that doesn't fit together. But
Right.
oh, man, after my first quarter at the Art Institute, I got told, "Hey, you made honor roll." I'm like,
Awesome, man. That's
"What?"
great. Amazing when you
I
go to
thought,
school for something you actually want to do, how well you can,
yeah.
how much you can succeed.
And yeah, throughout that time, I learned so many cool techniques, and I learned a sub category that I want to pursue one day.
Hmm.
So so we had to take some wine classes, and I thought that's cool. So don't have
Yeah.
a car, so I don't drive. I just walk to and from school. I,
Perfect.
but then we were asking one of our guys who was a Marine vet. He was like, "Hey, is there?" Because we know sommelier is a expert for wine. They know how to pair stuff, and we were like, "Hey, is there anything for beer in a similar category?"
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's like, I don't know. Let's look it up. So it's called a Cicerone, and it's in the same style of category. So you would taste beer and
Interesting.
you would know, yeah, this goes well with a steak, or this one goes well with this and that. And I was like, cool. If I ever get a chance to, I want to do
Hmm.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, interesting.
um, yeah.
S-
So
a
I,
cicerone, you said?
yeah, Cicerone.
Okay.
So
Cool. I learned a new
and
word today.
cool. And I started dating in college. This beautiful young woman who is my ex now, but
Ah.
turns out she was also from Chico,
Ah.
and she
Small
lived
world.
right across the river from me, or the channel. And I was like, wow.
Yeah.
We
Small
started
world.
dating, and when she graduated about a year before I did, because
Ah.
she was going for her associate's degree, I was going for my bachelor's degree,
Right.
and
Okay.
so I started getting like the courage to like finally ask her to marry me. I bought a ring, and
Oh wow, man.
so
Ready to take the
uh,
plunge.
I was ready to take the plunge. And when I graduated, I was like, that's where I want to propose to her, not on stage in front of thousands of people. No, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But afterwards, yeah, when we were taking pictures, I got down on one knee and asked her to marry me.
Oh
She
wow.
said yes, and um, yeah, stuff just started going downhill after that, and
Uh,
um, yeah,
well,
we
yeah,
just
that's
kind of
tough.
drifted apart. And was it 3 years ago we broke up, and
Yeah, man, I'm sorry.
we're still on speaking terms. We're still on good terms, but we just like we're done emotionally. And I was like, that's okay.
Yeah.
I understand. I appreciate the years I put in, and I'm glad she was in my life for the time she was.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, and that's definitely hard, date, having a relationship as a student, especially when one stops the student journey but the other continues it. I mean, yeah, the disparity makes it really really tough to stay together.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But yeah, after school, like, and I'd taken on some debt with a loan because
Oh.
well, what happened was my the head of my department had forgotten I'm a vet, so I'm getting
Oh,
money by going to school full time.
sure.
So I had to take a couple of online classes, and the online class was only for half the quarter. So I didn't get
Uh,
the full amount. So I was kind of freaking out because I'm like, instead of getting $1,800 for the month, I got 600. I was like,
yeah,
that
that's a
will cover my
huge
rent.
difference. Yeah.
Yeah.
Big
So
deal.
I shouldn't have done this because like a week after, or a few days after was the VA sent me money to
Mhm.
supplement that.
Oh, okay.
Oh crap! But I took out a $5,000 loan to just make sure that I could survive. And
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Makes
and I
sense.
apologized to my renting company. That I was like, it's going to be late. I will get you a rent, or I'll get you a, what is it, the check or whatever it is, and
Yeah.
I will hand it to you personally. Just something came up.
Yeah.
So yeah, so when I got out, I didn't really go into the culinary field immediately, and I should have.
Mhm.
But well, I did. I worked for Safeway for about 3 months in the deli department, and
Okay.
that
Yeah.
was the most stressful time I'd ever had in 3 months.
Slaveway is just terrible. Like my brothers worked for them forever, so yeah, I know firsthand just what a nightmare company they are.
I made some good friends there, but I was like, oh my gosh. And I got out on my birthday. Like I quit on my birthday. I was like, hey, before that 2 weeks notice, here you go. Sorry, but
Yeah.
I can't do this.
Yeah, yeah. It
and
is a
we
soul-sucking experience.
and of course we just got into the Christmas season or around that time. So people are ordering their turkeys and hams, and it's like the full dinner. It's all cooked. It's just cold now because we put it in the walk-in refrigerator.
Sure.
And people thinking like it's fully cooked. It is fully cooked. It's just not warm. You got to do that yourself.
Yeah, you got to heat it up. Right. Right. Yeah.
and I worked for Panda Express for a little bit, about a
Mhm.
year. So I did get a little more cooking experience there, but I started having this problem with my hands where it's like all up in here. You'd see like the skin would get red and peel
Oh,
and
weird.
flake. So I had to go to the hospital. I literally had to go to Enloe to the
Yeah.
emergency room, and they were like, they called it contact dermatitis,
Oh, right,
and
right.
of course, then one ER doctor did something that my chef in culinary school told me: never listen to a doctor when it comes to nutritional value. Go to a nutritionalist.
Yes.
But he had me watch this video about gluten, and I was like,
Interesting.
dude, what the hell?
Yeah.
So I got this cream for my hands and it worked.
Mhm.
And but after a year of working for Panda Express, I was like, I'm done. I worked
Yeah.
for a gas station for about almost 3 years.
Oh, wow.
And at that time I was like, I am done working directly with people
Yeah, yeah.
because
You
on
yeah, we all kind of
on
age out of that at some point. Yeah.
yeah. And like I started noticing on my left hand, just due to the stress from working in that gas station, I started getting warts all over my hands,
Oh,
like
geez.
just the stress of dealing with everybody. And
Yeah, yeah.
so finally, one of my dad has a Lego store in town after he retired from the Butte County Sheriff's Office, and I work
Nice.
with him there. But one of his buddies, Nick Roseman, he was a chef as well. Worked for Sierra Nevada for years. Finally became the head chef of a little bar and grill here in town, and
Mhm.
he's a head chef at my current job. He got me a job at the Handlebar, little bar and grill here in town, and
Okay.
within 2 weeks, all the warts on my left hand had disappeared. They had just gone
It's
away,
just
and
all stress
yeah,
induced.
I
Holy
had
cow.
such a good time working there. Worked there for about a year. But last year, 2022,
Mhm.
that was just all of a sudden summer came around, all the college students left, all of our regulars went down to the downtown area to their bars that they like to frequent. I
Uh,
went from 5 days a week to 4 days a week, and I was like, no, I've got to pay bills, man.
oh, for sure. Yeah.
So, and about that time, the a new company was hiring. Well, it was a brewery that was a tap room and restaurant that they were
Oh,
opening here in Chico. And
nice.
I was like, I'm probably not going to get in, but I'll give it a try. It was
Yeah,
a
you have to.
Farmers Brewing Company tap room and restaurant.
Oh, cool.
And I was like, I know, I know Nick was going there. He was going to be one of their chefs. So I said, why not? I'll throw my hat in.
Yeah,
Did
might as
one
well.
interview and they're like, yeah, can you work for us? It's like, yeah, I'll work.
Perfect. Dream come
Yeah.
true. They're probably like, what the hell is this guy doing? He's overqualified. I mean, you got the art institute and
Yeah.
yeah,
And yeah, I've been doing that for a few years. So I was like,
that's great, man.
and they've been almost open for a year. My problem, my hands came back, and
Uh,
turns out it was the hand soap we were using. They have like a chemical in it that
oh,
was
yeah,
from
yeah.
me and another chef burning off layers of skin and then
Oh,
exposing.
jeez.
So they had to buy a specific soap for us that we
Okay.
could use. And they literally put like tags on it saying This is for Cody and Tyler. Do not use.
Okay, okay. Well, good. I'm glad they figured out what the problem was, so you're not,
Yeah,
constantly subjecting your hands to abuse, unnecessary neglect. Wow.
yeah.
All right. Wow, awesome. Okay, you've been there about a year, so I mean,
Yeah.
what all do they have you doing there? Are
So
you
I'm a prep cook,
cicerone?
right? I wish. I do have to go do that course, and it's a couple $100 for.
Oh wow.
Well, once you get higher and higher, you have to go, and then you have to brew your own beer, and so you can like understand the brewing process. And
Oh
one of
damn.
these days, I'll do it. It's difficult at the moment, and
Oh yeah, yeah. There's a lot to it, and I do remember, when I was getting out 10 years ago, I was thinking about maybe doing like a brewery course or whatever. And there, like the two that I looked at, there is one at UC Davis, but there's another one in Scotland. And
ooh,
but yeah, UC Davis. I mean, that's not horrifically far.
yeah.
That's Sacramento, right? 2 hours for you. So uh, but yeah, that would be cool if you could get that. But yeah, so what you're doing at the restaurant and brewery? Sorry.
Well, I'm a prep cook right now. I do run into the dish pit and help them out a little bit here and there.
Yeah.
Really gotten good at we make these biscuits for, what is it? Angry prawns.
Mm-hmm.
So they put, and like, for me, it's like, I can make them perfect every single time.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
know what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
And also the salsa we make in for our nachos, we
Mm-hmm.
make a red salsa, a green salsa, salsa roja, salsa verde. And I just know how to do it so well. It's like, dude, I don't know.
Yeah.
And it's like I get the chips out and I'll test them, and it's like that needs more salt. Add more salt, and then
Mm-hmm. Oh,
yeah,
that's cool, man.
yeah. There's a few other things that I can do really well. What is it? So yeah, I've made the pulled pork before, and
Oh,
that's really
cool.
interesting and fun to do. It's like hours of work. You have to
Oh yeah.
marinate it and then put it in the oven, like wrapped up in tin foil,
Yeah,
and
it
it's
takes
like
a
a two
while.
to 3 hour process. So it's a low heat.
Yep.
So yeah,
Oh, that's great, man. Like, and you're enjoying it and got
yeah,
upward mobility. Yeah. That's it's so tough. I don't know, there's a mentality I think that we get in the military where it's just like whether you're happy or not, this is just how it is. There's not too
yeah,
much you could do to change it, so you kind of just go, "All right, well, I got to get through this, find my fun where I can." But I know
yeah,
I know what to expect day in, day out, and you kind of put like what it is you want to do at the back of your mind cuz it's irrelevant in the present.
yeah,
And then when you do get out, it's like I don't know what I want to do. I've never had to, work through this exercise of what do I want to do, and it takes a really long time to find your niche, or it can anyway. But
yeah,
yeah, glad you found this and doing something that you enjoy, and putting your education to good use too. It's awesome,
yeah.
man.
Yeah, and I'm looking to soon. I'm going to talk to my chef about moving up in the company, like because I know
Yeah,
I'm can't stay in the kitchen all my life.
yeah, yeah.
But what is it? I'm thinking about trying to move up into sales, or being one of the journeymen they have, because they have them all throughout the North State. Like
Of course.
they'll have them like drive to like certain bars and certain like places and just talk to the people, basically sell the stuff. And
Yeah,
like I can talk to people if I like one on one. I can like get to
yeah,
know them. It's like, hey, you'll like this, and I've had a lot of their beers, so it's like I can identify like, okay, this one's good for winter, this one's good for summer. This is
yes,
a more of a lighter thing that'll won't get you buzzed, but it's nice to enjoy with the fellas and
yeah.
that sort of thing. And
Oh,
yeah,
yeah. No, that's great, man. Yeah, definitely. I mean, even if, you get into something else that you're not that passionate about, there's other areas for you to get into and advance, and, you'll be the better for it to have done something else. That's
yeah,
that's great.
yeah,
Um, well, yeah, and all right, so we've gotten all the way from start to finish for Cody's life, but someone else who's maybe looking to join the military. What do Do you have any advice for them, or don't do it?
No. Joking, joking.
Yeah, I get to
Um,
be cynical. That'd probably be my answer 9 out of 10 times.
uh, definitely research everything. Um, don't believe everything your recruiter is going to tell you because they're trying to get you in.
Exactly.
But find a hobby. Find something that you like that you can do over and over. For me, it was reading, also Lego, and of course
Okay.
my dad's company there.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, find something to do, whether it be going to the gym, reading, writing,
Yeah.
working with your hands. Find that, do it, just to fill in the time because like I still drink, but I've really gone down on my drinking just because it's no longer fun. And it's like I'll have a
Yeah.
couple of drinks in there with the guys or watching a movie, but
Yeah.
I drank so much in the Navy and
Oh.
in college, and I was like, wow.
Yeah. Oh
So
yeah. I did too, and I quit a few years ago. Like it's like, oh, this is better. Now that I'm older and slowing down, this is more my
yeah,
speed.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it's like really, it's like for me, it's like after work I get like a shift beer, and it's like a free beer for, and usually that ends up being the only beer I have that day. So
Yeah.
then it's like I go home and I'm just like, all right, it's 11 o'clock in the evening. I'm tired and I don't really want to crack open another one. Okay, I'm good.
Yeah. Yeah. Good for you, man. No, that's all. Yeah, and yeah, like you say, have a hobby and everything else. And yeah, speaking of hobbies, have you been? You know, you talked about you wanted to do some writing. Have you been doing any writing in your downtime?
I did
Mm-hmm.
earlier this year, or no, yeah, late last year, something like that.
Cool.
I really need to get back into it. It's just with my schedule being the way it is, it's kind of all over the place now.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I do have some ideas for novels and I've started writing them down. So it's like I
Good.
have something on paper.
Yeah.
It's just I need to actually write it.
Yeah. That's exciting, man. I hope that you keep working on the writing aspect of stuff and keep trying new stuff. Try, man.
Oh,
I
definitely.
yeah, I think that's a really good good lesson. If you don't know what you want to do, like try something. What's the worst you're gonna do? You're gonna, it's not gonna work
Fail?
out.
Yeah.
Hey, there's a few
Yeah.
more bullet points on your resume of stuff that you can do. You just might not spark to leverage that into something else. But
Yeah.
oh, that's awesome, man. Well, I appreciate you coming on and sharing your experiences because I think once we wound up in Bahrain, it was like you kind of knew some of the guys. For the most part, it's like okay, they had one command before this. Maybe
Yeah.
of course I knew all the Washington guys, the Kings Bay guys, and I think I knew that you came from Gitmo, but I didn't know you were from Chico until an hour ago. I'm like, oh man, he was just a couple hours north of me. That's crazy. Small, and
Yeah.
they say it's a small navy, and it really is.
Yeah.
So that's awesome, man. Well, Cody, thank you so much for coming on. I don't want to keep you because I know you got an important, was it festival to get to?
Yeah. The NorCal Celtic Festival. So I'm looking
Awesome.
forward to it.
Awesome, man. Yeah, have a great time. Take a lot of pictures.
Oh,
Um,
definitely.
but yeah, because it's a podcast, I try to ask if there's anything you want to plug or promote.
Um, well, of course, my dad's business, but
And yeah, what's the name of it again?
Brian's Bricks. So my
Okay.
dad, after he retired, mom said, "You can't sit around the house. You need to find a fucking hobby." So you know,
She has good
like
advice
since
too.
he's my yeah, so being that he's my stepfather, he and I bonded over Lego, and after that, he started doing Lego as a hobby, and all of a sudden, the past 7 years, he's been.
Uh-oh. May have
Uh,
lost you there for a second. Okay, yeah, he's past 7 years. He's been doing the business. All right. Well, think I don't know what's going on with the connection right now, but I'll put a link of that in the description and hit you up for the link to your restaurant, and I'll put that in the YouTube description as well. Promote you guys, but But yeah, Cody, again,
All
thanks
right.
so much for coming on, man, and have a great rest of your Saturday.